Want to get your thoughts real quick on, the whole Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman thing. I'm pretty sure, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna favor Tim Tszyu. But when you look at Tim Tszyu's record, is Keith Thurman the best guy he ever fought?
Yes.
So better than Tony Harrison, Terrell Boucher, Brian Mendoza. I guess the size difference doesn't really matter too much to you.
In terms of accomplishment and level for it, I mean, it's comparable, but Keith, he's been at the top level a little bit longer than Tony and Brian and them guys. He's been in there with Manny Pacquiao, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. Not saying those guys haven't been, against some top level guys, because Tony's been in there with Jared and Jamel. But Keith has probably ascended to a higher level. He was a unified champion. He was up there a little bit longer. So I would give Keith the edge, especially in big fight experience. Keith has headlined his own cards for a while now, a couple HBO cards back in the day, if you remember. So
Mhm.
he has big fight, big event experience, which does matter. You see guys get tight early and they need a second win, kind of weird, and they don't get the second win right away because they're like the moment and the anxiety does something. Fighters are human beings too. So Keith is he's been at the big stage. So I would say that he's probably Tim Tszyu's most accomplished opponent.
What percentage would you actually give Keith to winning that fight? He hasn't fought since, if I'm not mistaken, February of 2022. So it'll be like a little over 2 years since he last fought. But that's pretty much that's what he does now.
Um, I would give him between 35 and 40% chance to win. I think the fight's like 65-35 in Tszyu's favor, 60-40 low.
Mhm.
Uh, but the thing about Keith Thurman is that he's like I never agreed with this, but like since maybe like 2015, I think when the PBC first got the big platforms, he's been like a one time a year fighter, once every couple of year type of fighter. And that was around the times where he was beating Sean and Danny,
Yep,
uh,
yep, yep.
his best career run. So I never understood why on your best career run, you you become that inactive. Because Keith Thurman was like one of the top PBC fighters, like a unified undefeated world champion. Like he was about to go into the realm of like, damn, is he a great fighter? Can we start considering him for the Hall of Fame? Like he was at that level, and then he's just been very uh inactive and just like kind of maybe stop chasing the greatness. But it's not up for me to say what level of greatness a guy wants. He has to want that. But I just like when you beat Danny Garcia in the unification and Sean Porter, when you win them kind of fights, it's like, whoa, this guy is, you know what I'm saying? Like you're looked at as like, that and you're undefeated, going into the Pacquiao fight or whatever. So but he doesn't show a lot of ring rust when I see him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's weird. Like against Mario Barros, I was like, damn, he
Yeah.
looked sharp,
Mhm.
And even when he was like taking off a year and then fighting, his whatever he does in between fights, or maybe I don't know, but I don't see a lot of ring rust with him. So I'm not saying that it doesn't occur. I'm not saying it can't creep up, but I haven't seen any effects of ring rust on him. He seemed to like the fight inactively. You know what I mean? Because he's one of the bigger stars in the division. He seemed to like the way he does it. So it works for him. So I'm not going to like if a guy wants to fight and he can't, all right, I'll say, it's a shame the guy got ring rust. But the guy like Thurman who kind of enjoy not fighting often, I'm not going to give them the ring rust, thing because it might not affect him like that. Uh, I think that Tim Tszyu may have a good fight on his hands. Keith Thurman was a standout amateur at 152 pounds, and he fought at junior middleweight for a while. So this might be give his body a chance to breathe, and he may feel good. He's a little older. I think he's maybe like 35 is 36s or something
30,
like that.
35. Yep,
So,
35.
Okay. So yeah, so he might this might be good for him. But he can fight on the move. He can
Mhm.
move and he does have some pop in his shots. And even though his style is like not as aesthetically pleasing as some of the other guys who move and do a lot of slick stuff, he's not really easy to fight because he can bounce like that all night. It looks like he's gonna run out of gas, but he don't. Not to a point where he's losing fights. So he can bounce and in and out and sliding around the ring and punching off those bounces all night. So Zoo's gonna have to be in shape. And the unique thing about the way Keith Thurman fights is he's a knockout puncher who bounces a lot. He has a high amount of knockouts. So it kind of makes you like not want to run up on him. You know what I mean? It makes you like a little bit apprehensive, like, yeah, I gotta chase this guy down, but he's not feather fisted. He's hitting me with some stuff that's making me think about going up in there. So I could see Tim Tszyu having some trouble. I could see it being, I don't agree with the odds. I saw like Tim Tszyu like -800. We
Yeah.
don't know enough about him to put him that much over Keith Thurman, to be honest. He should be the favorite, but it shouldn't be that big because we don't, we seen him get knocked down by Terrell Gausha. He didn't perform that great the last time he came to America. Traveling and performing is a real thing. Your body got to get used to the time zone, got to get used to the food. Like that's a real thing that we're talking about. That's not a fake thing. That's a real thing. And I just I can't count Keith Thurman out in this fight, but I do favor Zoo. I think that Zoo has kind of he's getting to a point where he's reaching that like maybe elite level peak. He looked really good versus Brian Mendoza, and he has clever pressure where he knows how to pressure you and then counterpunch you when you try to fight him off of you. So, man, I think that his body attack and his forcefulness, and even though it's going to be here in America, I think the crowd will be on his side. I
Mhm.
think that I give Zoo the edge in the fight.
You think he ends up stopping Keith?
You know, um, I think it's a possibility, but I wouldn't bet that. Keith Thurman, for some reason, he looks like he's gonna get stopped when you hit him to the body, but it don't happen.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's kind of like he's resilient. He shows that he's hurt, but he fights through it. Like some guys keep a poker face and you can't tell when they hurt. He's one of the guys. He lets you know he's hurt, but he still fights through it. He's gutsy.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say he's gonna get stopped because he got a lot of pride. So let's see. Let me see how they look in training closer to the fight. But right now, I'm not saying he's. I'm not predicting he's going to stop him. I'm just predicting the Zoo win. I know you get technical around predictions, so I just predict the Zoo's going to win right now. Let me see how they look getting closer to the fight.
Gotcha.